name is Scott Churchton, and alongside me is Mr. Obi Spencer. And welcome to the Tales from the Film Set, chatting with awesome people as we round out today with the Mr. Miguel Figueroa. You may have seen him from MMA. You may have seen him from his YouTube channel with 150,000 subscribers. Kudos on that, by the way. Toy Quest 101, promoting pop culture, autism awareness, and frankly, having all sorts of really, really cool stuff. So, sir, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm happy to be back on here. I love you guys. Tired, just got out of the gym, so I'm doing good, man. Big things, big things.
Feelings mutual. You ready for the snow and everything?
No, I'm not. I'm not a snow fan. I mean, I enjoy it, but I'm Spanish, man. I like the sun and hot weather.
Snow's not so bad until you have to start cleaning it.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Hey, look, I'm pasty white. I don't want the snow, so.
Dude, none of you are pastier than this. I'm sorry. You're just not.
Well, you're full ginger, so you know.
Yeah. I got the whole no soul thing going on for me. But yeah, good seeing you again, man. I hope you're doing well over there.
Same, man. Same.
But yeah, no, I want to talk to you about a little bit, obviously, about Toy Quest 101, the purpose, the goal. I mentioned before the show, we have to talk about what you have over that your left shoulder there, that Batman that you said you just got. So we got to talk about that. Talk a little bit about MCU, maybe some DC, maybe some Peacemaker. I don't know if you've caught that yet.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Good man. That intro, by the way, also, let's just go in that direction. But yeah, how you doing, man? What's new and exciting?
Man, I'm doing great, man. I can't complain. Things are on the up with the channel, which is always a good thing. Got a lot of celebrities lined up. Our latest video, that's the latest one that we just aired, was with Master Ken. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him. He's hilarious. We played a little game at the end like I do with my guests, and I threw some of my teammates and my coaches in there, and well, it was pretty funny. I thought I was going to get killed, but it was good, man. That guy he's not only talented. I mean, in real life, he's a legit mixed martial artist, but it just blew my mind to have him on the show and him not break character at all. And I was trying to act, and I just kept cracking up because I was just like, what is happening, right? My daughter enjoyed it very well. A lot of people got good feedback from it, especially in the martial arts community. That was fun, man. So I'm announcing a lot of things on here that nobody knows. So I have the writers and the showrunners of the X-Men animated series coming back on, which we recorded yesterday. Now they are known as for the X-Men 97 that just got announced because they got brought back on. And they reviewed with me the new Mondo Wolverine 11th inch figure, which is kind of nice. So not only do we talk about, what to expect or not really what to expect because they can't really say much about the new show, but kind of like, the process where they went through, how when they announced it, when they found out, the excitement. And we review the Mondo Wolverine figure that's very popular. Yeah, man. And I have some people coming on from Sideshow. Terry Smith, he's going to be on. And yeah, man, a couple other people lined up. A lot of statues. We got a good sponsor. If you guys follow my Facebook group, I throw a lot of statues out there for people who collect, and that's one of my sponsors there. We try to get them, some sales and stuff. So it's good to support us that way. And yeah, man, just, the Blue Kraken Special Olympics team, we did that right over Christmas, which was huge. Great turnout, a lot of support there. That's going to start in March. As you guys know, my daughter's going to be on that team as well. Comic-Cons are coming up, I mean, I could go on and on and on. So it's just trying to knock things out and get things done and try to help out in the community as much as I can, man.
Nice.
Absolutely. So yeah, I've been watching your stuff on TikTok because I'm sorry to the entire YouTube world and the people I'm asking to watch me, but I got 3 minutes and I'm on the next. But Master Ken doing the Krav Maga, your reaction was just hysterical, let alone him. That was one of my favorite bits. Also, I did watch the full statue versus statue, and I'm sorry, but Hobgoblin beat Green Goblin. That fire was just.
My daughter destroyed me in that one, man. She was and she had fun too. And I love those versus episodes of ours because it kind of puts us against each other. And she gets real sassy with me, and it just comes out to be great content. It's kind of funny because I'll be like, you know, I kind of get caught off guard. But yeah, it was a good episode too, man. That was a good episode. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. No, I enjoy the stuff. I'm impressed with both you and your daughter. You know, the long cuts that you guys are able to film. Both of you. I don't know how much practice it's taken, but it blows my mind when I was watching how well you did on the long cuts, both of you back and forth. It was good.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. I think, you know, over time, I think now she's the expert. I'm the one always messing up. It's kind of funny. But it's funny because when people ask us how we do our videos, they're pre-recorded, but they're straight. You know, it's very rare that I do cuts now, because the videos tend to be a little longer because the statues are a lot more intricate and more like, you know, million pieces to them. I have to cut some things just so we could, you know, make sure that I'm giving a good visual for the audience. But man, she's, you know, she's coming from not wanting to talk and, you know, having issues with anxiety and things like that because of her autism and stuff. And now she just, you know, is so good on camera in front of people. It's just, it's amazing, honestly. And it's a blessing. So it all works out, man. It's good.
Oh, yeah, that must be awesome. I mean, anyone watching their child grow is fantastic. But when you know you're watching your child grow over the obstacles that they have, that's even better.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, so let's get into it. Like I said, I really want to see that that Batman that you said you just got that. Can you bring that forward? I'm gonna zoom you in.
This is the Batman Batcave from Prime One Studios. This is the statue of the year last year in a lot of collectors' eyes. I mean, it's amazing. I don't know if you can see this. I'm gonna try to bring the camera up to it. So this is the actual statue itself. Obviously, it's Batman walking through the Batcave. Now, Prime One Studios, this is from Batman Hush, by the way, which is a very iconic comic book line, you know. And the cool thing about it is that his Bat computer turns on. I'll try to see if I can turn it on here for you guys. I don't know if you can see it flickering and stuff. And also, I could do this too. Ready? All right. And as you can see down here, busts, and I could go ahead and now put Bruce Wayne on there. So it's very detailed, man. It's, you know, it's not a how you say, inexpensive statue, because it was very expensive. I mean, that thing ran about $2,000, especially now with shipping. And it's just, you know, I'm a big fan of art, man, and I just think they really nailed it, especially coming from that iconic comic book line. And you know, the portrait swaps, and they came with smaller busts. I mean, he has a million bats around him. I could change his grappling hook into a batarang, so he has different arms and stuff that you could put on him. These statues are getting crazy, man, with the designs and stuff. And you know, this is probably one of my favorites in my collection right now. And I just absolutely love it. He's huge too. I mean, it's a big statue. He's probably from my my waist up to my head. That's how big he is. So he's pretty big. I had to make a freaking box for him because he's too big to display like on a shelf. But yeah, man. And I just kind of made a little, you know, my shelf isn't done yet.
A bat shrine.
I have a little bat shrine there. What I absolutely love. But yeah, the video's out on YouTube. If you guys look for it, it's a couple videos down. The Geek Statue Show episode of that. And it turned out really well. You'll see more high def quality and stuff on it. But if you're into it or you're curious about it, definitely check it out. And you know, if you guys are interested, join on to my Facebook group. You know, message me. I could put on a link and give it to you guys. And there we kind of send affiliate links, and you know, it's free. It's just a free way to support the channel. If you're already trying to buy a statue, you know, you go through the guys that support us on the show. So it's pretty cool.
Definitely. Put that in the link.
With those statues, obviously you're unboxing every single one of them. It's what your show does. Me, I'm a minor collector. I got, you know, a Vader over here, a few other, most of my stuff are Vader stuff. But I unbox no matter what I get. Obviously, you're unboxing a lot. Is there a value loss? And I imagine because you don't care because you've got yours all on display.
So it's funny you say that. So I don't believe there's a value lost when it comes to a statue, because a statue comes in a brown shipper box. It's not like it comes in a displayed box, which, give me 1 second, I'll give you an example. So like this is the figure we just did with the guys over at the X-Men animated series. So this is Wolverine, the one I just showed you earlier, but inside of the box, and it's an iconic scene from the X-Men animated series where he's laying down on his bed with a picture of Cyclops and Jean. That right there, if you take that out of the box, absolutely, I think it does decrease in value. But the statues, not so much. The statues, actually, believe it or not, because they have low edition size, which means, you know, they only made 1,000, they only made 300. They actually go up in value the minute you buy them, because once they are completely sold out, if anybody wants to buy that, you're absolutely going to get what you paid for, or even more, in any other market aside from where they originally come from. So a little different from statues, but I do believe figures, obviously pops and all that stuff, we take them out of the box, they do. But it's kind of, you know, it's kind of what you want in your collection. Do you want to, you know, this I could display in the box because it looks cool. But if it didn't look that cool, I would take it out of the box. Absolutely, I'm the out of the box guy.
Nice.
Excellent.
Now, when you were talking there before about, you know, X-Men 97, you know, you've had Cal Dodd on before, who was the voice of Wolverine.
Love
you know, to me, that will always be, you know, the Wolverine voice, not Hugh Jackman, not Scott McNeil, you know, from the 2000 series, but his voice there also between the X-Men series and also obviously X-Men versus Street Fighter, Capcom versus Street Fighter. You know, I mean, in this case here, do you have plans on getting him back or any of the other guys back?
So it's funny. Listen, Cal Dodd is a good friend at this point, and so is the writers Eric and Julia Leewald. They came on for the second time. Like I said recently, that episode's going to air probably next after this Batman one that I'm doing now currently.
Nice.
But they are so busy, man. They're so busy with X-Men 97. It's such a big thing. You know, you'll see in the episode when I talk to Eric and Julia, the biggest difference between when they did it 30 years ago till now, how technology's changed, especially with cell phones. And they used to fax their scripts over, like from Canada.
Okay.
So, like, it's such a huge difference. But yeah, man, I'm always willing to have people back on. You know, Cal Dodd's super busy. I did reach out to him. I kind of knew he was going to be busy because obviously he's probably one of the most popular ones on there. Eric and Julia went out of their way on their busy schedule to jump on with us, and that's going to be an amazing episode. I can't wait to release it. But I'm gonna have other people on. You know, I'm probably trying to get Larry Houston on, who's actually the director. I'm trying to get other people like Rogue and stuff on, and you know, we'll see what happens down the road.
Yeah, I mean, in this case, also, I mean, supposedly, by my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's going to take place, I guess, immediately after the finale.
Yes. So
because in this case, when you know, go ahead, I'll let you roll with it because I know how it ends.
It excites me, right? Because I think, and you're gonna see this in the next when I air this episode. But when the original episode, when they were on, which was less than a year ago, and you guys can go watch it now on Toy Quest, we talked about how, you know, they just got on social media. They didn't know that X-Men was still so popular until they just started going to these Comic-Cons and like, what is going on, right? And then they started inviting the cast. So not only in our last video did we, because we put it out there, we send the message to Marvel through Instagram, through Twitter. It kind of blew up, right? A lot of people did that, not just my channel. And Marvel just answered. They not only got people who are working on it now that love and are into it, but they didn't go and reboot it. They stayed with the original stuff, and it's going to be a continuation of the X-Men animated series. The artwork is a tad bit different, but you could still feel that it is from the original X-Men animated series. And not only that, they brought in Eric and Julia Leewald as, you know, as someone to support them in their writing of the new series. So like they're not striving away from its original content, which to me means it's going to be just as good as it was before, if not better. And I'm really happy and excited that Disney and Marvel did that. They could have done something totally different like we've seen before, where they completely reboot it and it ends up being garbage, right? But like, honestly, out of all the other X-Men reanimated things that they did, the only storyline I cared for, I think it was Wolverine and the X-Men, where kind of Wolverine and Cyclops trade places. Wolverine becomes the leader of the X-Men. Cyclops is just heartbroken because Phoenix died. That was a cool line. Steve Bloom was the voice of Wolverine. But that was a cool storyline. But this is definitely hands down going to be the best thing.
Nice. Yeah, because in this case here, when Xavier goes up with the Shi'ar and Lilandra, it almost seemed like Magneto was going to be taking over the X-Men, which I know did happen in the comic book storyline at one point. So for 25 years now, literally, it's always been kind of this what now type of scenario. What happened after that? And I remember, as a, younger person then, not even a kid, but being like, did the series just end here?
Yeah,
because it wasn't really announced. It was just like, here's the last episode, and he's gone. And that was a different animation style for that last season than the previous 4 anyway. So it's been kind of sitting there for now 2.5 decades, being like, all right, what happened? And now finally, by God, we're getting some answers on that.
Yeah, and I'm excited because that is one of the questions I asked. And obviously, again, they were bound to secrecy on certain things. So
Sure.
I knew what to ask and what not to ask. But this will be a continuation of not the very last season, because as you said, the last season was like totally different artwork, and it kind of didn't make sense. So that was kind of a throwaway season. But this is going to take place right after Jean, Phoenix goes away. She dies, right? Or nobody knows what happened to her. And yeah, who knows? I mean, we don't really know what's going to happen. But the cool thing about it is X-Men animated series for its time was way ahead of its time, talking about things in the world that was going on that they weren't really allowed to talk about. So it was more of an adult show on Fox Kids, right? So now in the world we live in, with the things that are going on, and they don't have those restrictions, I can't wait to see what they're going to focus on and bring some positive energy to the world today, while still, really nailing a great storyline from the comic book lines with the original cast and voices. So I cannot wait. Cannot wait.
Yeah, and that's obviously always been one of the strengths of X-Men, especially for the comic book readers, is their ability to be like, look what's really going on. You catch the metaphor, right? You got that metaphor in there, right?
But the big thing that you mentioned is they're bringing back the original writers for input. You're seeing some reboots out there, and I want to use Animaniacs as an example, where you have no involvement from like Tom Ruegger, Paul Rugg, Sherry Stoner, where it's just a brand new group of people and it's their style. And as a result, it doesn't feel the same as what you grew up with. So the fact that you said outright that they're getting, input from the original writers of this does give me some hope that maybe it's got the same kind of vibe and feel to it. And like I said, I'm curious as heck.
I think it will, man. I absolutely think I will. I mean, talking from them, like I said, you're going to see it in the next show. I encourage you guys to go see the original episode that we did with them prior to that, kind of talking about what if they started another season. And they really didn't know this was going to happen a couple months down the road, which is funny. And so I got them back on to be like, oh my God, we put it in the universe and look what happened. And I'm really proud of them. Like, you have to put yourself in their shoes, right? They back then Fox Kids was dying, X-Men was the one that put them back on the spot. They took a chance, they nailed it, right? And now, not only years later with all this social media, not only do you have our generation, but it's been on Disney Plus, so Ileana knows what X-Men animated series is, right? So now they have multiple generations waiting for this comeback of this epic saga of X-Men animated series. Now that comic books and pop culture is so popular, I mean, the pressure's on. Disney and Marvel have to nail it, right? So I'm excited. They told me they had like around 60 people working just on this film, which is way more than what they were, or a series, which is way more what they did back then. And again, unfortunately, Cyclops, the guy who played Cyclops, is no longer around, or Sabretooth, but the rest of the cast is there and they're happy. And man, Cal Dodd, dude, I talked to Cal Dodd and he's just like, dude, I can't believe it. I'm Wolverine again. And it came from the heart. And I was like, oh my God, I got all emotional. I'm just happy for him, man.
Dude, absolutely. I'm jealous of you too, by the way, for the record.
Thanks.
So. But talk to me. Obviously you mentioned some of the stuff that's going on with Toy Quest, and the people that you've had on, and obviously the cool stuff that you have with Statue Review, and I'll throw that back right there. But you guys are at 150,000 subs now, I think, or right about that, aren't you?
Yeah, man.
Did you cross 150 or you still at 149 and change?
I'm still there. Unfortunately, we've been having issues with YouTube and stuff for the past year, believe it or not. But my subscribers still keep growing. I've been trying to fix that issue with YouTube. But on the flip side, I am now involved with the YouTube Shorts community, which is a part of YouTube, but it's different. So you're going to see a lot of Shorts, which is basically TikToks or Instagram Reels, but the YouTube version of it from us on there too. But, like I mentioned before, this was never supposed to really happen. It kind of blew up. So I'm faithful to our viewers. I'm grateful for the subscribers. Everything else kind of doesn't matter to me. I'm just blessed with, the messages that we're able to, come across the world with. And I'm grateful for all these celebrities that believe in us and give me the chance to talk to them. Right. It's just fun. And I'm just doing it for everybody watching and mostly for kids and my daughter. And, I'm here for the ride, man.
Nice.
So I'm gonna go back to more father questions because, like you, I have kids, and when it comes to the pop culture, especially the MCU, Doctor Who for one of my kids, like that nerd stuff, they're big into. My kids totally not into sports at all, which I have a huge side of sports in my life, and. I get to sort of like, this is what I do with them. This is what I don't do with them. Is your daughter watching the MMA with you, or is that just you on your own? Some time to be you.
What's funny, man? It depends, right? So Ileana got really into jiu-jitsu. She loves jiu-jitsu. She doesn't really watch MMA with me like that, but she knows who Ronda Rousey is. Ronda Rousey was with Sonya Deville, which is one of my former students, and she loves Sonya Deville. And, she's really into that. She knows I love it. Right. And as far as like pop culture, like obviously, she didn't watch Boba Fett with me. Nobody did. I love Boba Fett. Some people I know were like kind of on the fence about it, but she watched Cobra Kai. She loved Cobra Kai. And I'm like, you got to watch Karate Kid. Like forget Cobra Kai. So like I had to make her go back and watch Karate Kid. So it would make more sense, but she absolutely is in love with Cobra Kai, which is kind of cool. So it's kind of back and forth. And when we do the shows too, obviously I get to introduce her to things. When Rob Paulson was on the show, I didn't know who Animaniacs were. And Rob Paulson absolutely made my daughter feel so comfortable. And my daughter just became a fan right off the back. The minute she got home, she watched all the Animaniacs, which is kind of cool. And then on the flip side, when Ileana was younger, she had me doing My Little Pony or all this stuff that I had no idea about. So I'm on here, on the channel, like, oh my God, look, I got, Stardust or whatever the Tony's names are. Like, no idea what I was doing, reading off the box, but it's fun, man. It's fun and funny because I'm just like, oh my God, why are we getting this? So, but it's cool, man. It's kind of back and forth, but it's one of those things that you grow, as a father and their daughter, and it just ends up being fun, man. It really does.
Nice.
I hear you. My son is a pokey maniac. I don't even know what the right word is. So, over time, we learn things as parents about what's going on. Like now we know what the term starter means, whatever. My wife has a favorite Pokemon. And when the pandemic hit, my son had to move home from school. He literally went and bought me a Switch. Like it's all saved up his allowance. Like, now you're getting a Switch. Taught his mom to play Pokemon. So it's like, all of a sudden they're like, we're going to drag you into this thing that I'm into, and you're going to find out you kind of like it. And you're like, yeah, I do kind of like that.
Yeah, man, it's fun. Listen, with the Switch, man, me and my daughter be going at it at Mario Kart. It is a war. it is bad, man. If I should record us playing Mario Kart because we start like nudging each other. We start cheating right away. It's horrible. We start cheating right away. And she just gets better as I get worse. Like I don't know how it happens, but it's good. And then obviously she's doing swimming. She's an amazing swimmer. I grew up, playing baseball. I got up to AA minor leagues, and she's in swimming. I am not a swimmer. I don't really necessarily enjoy going to the swimming events because it's just the chlorine and the screaming, and then to wait so long, my back hurts. But I do love watching her, man. She gets amped up. She gets all souped up. She's like, when she does stuff. I love seeing that. So all that stress to that 5 minutes of fame, I absolutely love it. It's all worth it. But she's doing great, man. So a lot of things that we bond over that you wouldn't necessarily see us bonding over, and we do. So it's cool. It's kind of cool.
That's
Still
awesome.
work.
That's awesome.
Now you mentioned obviously Cobra Kai. We got to talk a little bit about that one here too. You know, you and I come from the generation of remembering the original Karate Kid, possibly the Karate Kid cartoon, which, yes, I admit I watched and liked when I was younger. No accounting for possible some levels of taste. But, you know, you had Master Ken on. You know, there was some talk about, you know, will he be in season 5? What's going to happen in season 5, which I have my own theories on as far as where that's going to go. But so you guys bonded over Cobra Kai.
Yeah, man. She loved it. So it's funny because when Cobra Kai came out, I was like, all right, this is either going to be really good or it's going to be horrible, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my expectations were not good at all. Like, I just immediately thought this was going to be horrible. I absolutely love it. I think they did a great job with the storylines. The acting is great. I love Johnny. I mean, like the whole way they did it, and it kind of flipped roles. I think it was just perfect, man. The way they did it. There's some things that I was just like, but most of it I absolutely love. I think it's funny as hell. I think it's hilarious, right? And it's good for all generations. It's not like, you know, there's things that it teaches as well. There's, you know, things that you know I have to explain to her because I love the way they do the flashbacks, right? I think that's amazing. You know, I just love everything about it, and it keeps surprising us every episode. Instead of trying to jumble everything in, you know, when Kreese came on, all that stuff is pretty cool. And I think Master Ken's a little salty, man. I really do. But he has a point, and I didn't listen, everything that when we interview, it wasn't rehearsed. Maybe the beginning was, right? Where I introduced him, right? But everything was not like rehearsed. He didn't know what I was gonna ask him. And when he started saying, hey, look at what, you know, he had a red gi on. I have a red gi. Their high school mascot looks like my tiger. Like, it really sounds like Cobra Kai kind of bit off his show. So I think it's his way of wanting to be, you know, in Cobra Kai. But would you imagine, even if he was a cameo in Cobra Kai, how great would that be? That would be amazing. So hopefully somebody sees it in Netflix and Cobra Kai. I tagged all of them, of course, and you know, puts them in there. I think that'll be pretty cool.
It's got room for that because it's going to run out of original movie cameos eventually. So pulling him in is not a bad idea. All sorts of people from the martial arts world, to get them to make a quick appearance in there, it's only going to help the show. Only going to kind of build credit for the show. Yeah, I finally decided this year that I was going to watch it after not watching it, because just the excitement that people are having for season 4, I was like, all right, let me catch up and see. So I'm glad I did. But yeah, it's the perfect, you know, we were talking about when they're, you know, bringing back X-Men. Like here, it's the perfect amount of nostalgia. It's a decent amount of drama and comedy, a little melodramatic over the top every now and then, but like on purpose. You're like, I think they're doing that on purpose just to keep it going. But
a little CW
overall,
in there is necessary.
solid storylines and believable storylines. And the one guy who I think needs to, of course, make a appearance is NPH, since he literally created the Johnny was the good guy storyline.
Yeah.
I don't think he could.
How I Met Your Mother.
How I Met Your Mother. His character Barney brings out the Johnny is a good guy storyline.
That'd be cool, man. That'd be cool. I can't wait, man. I think they're doing a good job with a lot of shows, especially Netflix. Netflix has been killing it, and Disney Plus. I mean, you know, we've been definitely entertained. You know, Peacemaker, Boba Fett. I love them all, so I can't wait.
So you did like Boba Fett, huh?
Scott, I thought you were going to resist, Scott. I thought you were going to resist.
No, I did this on purpose because I had a feeling somebody might have not liked it, and I have. Listen. This is going to be interesting now. So there were certain things I absolutely hated. I will tell you this, and I'm sure we could talk spoilers because if you didn't see it, it's your fault now. So whoever's hearing or watching,
sure, no, it's fine.
All right. So full disclosure, I will be saying things, but that episode where the biker guys came out in their little Vespas, I almost stopped.
Go Power Rangers.
Oh my God. I almost immediately stopped watching the show because I was so upset because they're overacting. It was just they were kind of pointless, right? I didn't like them. Nobody,
I think nobody did.
dude. And I have friends that are real into Star Wars, right? And they didn't like it. They're like, oh, it should have never been called the Book of Boba Fett. And I'm like, who cares, right? I did love like all the new people, right? I absolutely love the Wookiee. Forgot his name.
Yeah, I know. I keep calling him Carful, but it's not.
Kersantin.
That's correct. Yeah, that's it.
Absolutely love him. Even though, like, towards the end when they were battling, like, he would like, oh my God, I'm down. And all of a sudden, hey, I'm back up. And then I'm down again. I'm like, dude, like, he's the Wookiee. He should be strong. Forget about that, right? At the end with the I can't think of the names now.
Cad Bane.
Oh no, that I flipped. I literally got out of my seat. Was like, yeah, I knew it. Like, I don't know why.
When hated that.
What? I'm about to log off right now. You're killing
Here's why. Let me just say that.
Why?
Cad Bane beat Obi-Wan Kenobi in a lightsaber fight and fought Ahsoka and Anakin in their prime to a draw. That kind of guy does not lose to Boba Fett like that. That was my problem.
How do you know he's dead?
What's that?
How do you know he's dead?
If it was, well, no, I mean, even if he didn't actually die, to lose like that was not in character to what Cad Bane has always been. He's always been smarter than everyone else. And that's where, like I said, they did him wrong from that perspective because of the fact of what his legacy had been for decades. Somebody that good is too smart to be that stupid.
I could definitely agree with that, but I was hyped to see him though because I wasn't expecting.
No, dude, it was great. Having Corey Burton back as the voice again was great,
and he looked great. He looked amazing.
I hated the way he went out. No,
I know folks who were getting angry and trying to make him look more like the cartoon. I was like, no, what are you talking about? This is as good as you're going. This is perfect live action.
He was great.
Perfect. Yeah. And I knew it was him the minute like he started looking in the distance and I saw like this figure. For some reason, I was like, that's him. It has to be him, right? So I loved him, even though I will agree with you on that. But who knows how many people have died in Star Wars and come back for some reason, right? Darth Maul came back half machine, right? You thought he was gone.
Which was obviously very good in his own right as well.
Right. So then I will say this, though. The second to last episode with the Mandalorian really got me in my feelings. I was so pissed off that they didn't let him see Grogu. And then on top of that, right, I'm over here like in my feelings. I'm like, I wanted him to see Grogu. Like, what the heck? I was so mad, right? I guess my father instincts came in. I have no idea. I was just really upset, right? Like, I was stressing. Like, my girl came in, like, what's wrong? I was like, you couldn't see Grogu. Like, what is? She's like, what are you talking about, right?
I kind of felt the same thing there,
dude. I was so mad, and then it pissed me off even more because at the end, freaking Luke is like, you got a choice, buddy. You're either gonna be a Jedi, go back, and I'm like, how are you gonna do this to this kid? Like, are you kidding me? Like, right? And then the last episode really got to me, and I was so happy that happened. Even though, I wouldn't have been mad if he would have went, with Luke, but I'm kind of glad it happened the way it did, right? Because he might not be fully trained as a Jedi, but he has the Force, obviously, and I mean, I think it's the best of two worlds, and I just can't wait, man. I can't wait for the Mandalorian. But I like that they kind of put the Mandalorian in there, even though nobody liked the fact that they tied in the story in there because it was all about the Mandalorian. But I didn't care, man. It all ties in anyway.
Yeah, it felt a little out of place, but I think my opinion, the best episodes of that series were the ones the Mandalorian was in.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that I loved any of the Sand People episodes. I love the episode where I think it's the second, maybe it's the third episode when he does steal the speeder bikes, trains them all up on the speeder bikes, takes the trip with the thing up his nose, and I love that whole episode. I love the backstory stuff. I love the Mando stuff, but the story that it was telling that was where it got soft, and I think it's because everybody has their own opinion of who Boba Fett is, depending upon what you decide is your canon about Boba Fett. Is it what you just saw in the movies? Did you read the books? Did you only do comic books? So it was so hard for them to nail the character because he's so many different things to so many people. And they're like, you know what we'll do? We won't do that character. I think they realized it after they started. This is a mistake. This is too hard to get right. And that's why I think they said, let's bring in the character everyone knows, which is Mando, and give him a couple episodes and build it all together that way. And
yeah,
it did work to me in the end. There were some wrinkles, but nothing. I mean, yeah. When it was competing Wednesday and then Thursday was John Cena, yeah, it felt like it was lacking. But if there wasn't John Cena on Thursday, I would have been fine with it.
Right.
Completely.
I agree. But, you know, it's like everything else. You never know what's going to happen. Maybe they're going to flip the script on us with how Boba Fett is next season. Right. Maybe something, you know what I mean? Like, you never know. But I enjoyed it, maybe, I guess, because of all the new people, all the cameos. And it just looked good. I mean, some of the editing they kind of messed up on. And I was like, man, this is Lucas. Like, how you could have messed up the name? But I loved it, man. I absolutely loved it. I loved it.
Nice.
My wife loved it. For the record, she watched it a second time and made me watch it with her. So that's a double bonus point if I can watch Star Wars with my wife a second time instead of Harry Potter.
Now I don't want to give
Harry Potter too, though.
I don't hate Harry Potter, but that's her world right there. It's always on. So
well, same. If it's not Law and Order, which is probably on right now, it's Harry Potter. But yeah, speaking of that,
my girl's the same way. Is that like a girl thing? Law and Order and Hallmark too? Is she a Hallmark thing?
My wife finds Law and Order relaxing. It's like, dude, there's a child rapist. I know. It's like, no.
I tell my girl all the time, I was like, you're gonna end up killing me, aren't you? Like, what is happening?
Give me anime and cartoons on Hulu.
My college girlfriend, she's the one who introduced me in Law and Order, and of course at that point, believe it or not, it was already on reruns. So every night we had to watch the darn show before we went to bed. It was like, okay, let's go.
I mean, I will say this: the Law and Order season 21, the original series, rebooted tonight, and I watched the intro, and I got to tell you, it was really, really cool to see Sam Waterston again. I mean, he's 81 years old. We're not going to deny it, but there was just something right about seeing him and seeing that again, even though I'm not a fan of the series. So leave Law and Order alone. It's a national treasure. Here's the thing about like I said, it's to me is kind of a staple in some ways to society, but I mean, in this case, there's I knew what you meant.
He said it's a national treasure.
Yeah, well, like I said, when you see Sam Waterston,
mean like national treasure, like the movie National Treasure?
Is Nick Cage going to make it? I will tell you one thing. I can't say it on air, but I will say this. Obi, go ahead and talk amongst yourselves for a second as I type this out. So.
Okay, I will talk among myself. I'm going to take it away from Boba Fett and where we're sitting right now with Law and Order and bring it back down to your collection, which is fascinating. We have it as our backdrop here, and then you double it up on the backdrop. So you already showed us Batman. You obviously have a huge Spider-Man. What are your 3 favorite characters that you got going on there? You can take them out or not, but just overall, your 3 favorite characters as statues, especially if they're not necessarily your favorite characters on when you're watching and enjoying things.
Oh, that's a good question. So my favorite, hands down, is always Wolverine. Wolverine's going to be, my son's name is Logan because of Wolverine. Let's just leave it at that, right? Love Wolverine. As far as my favorite statues, it's funny because I'm very particular of the statues I get, but there's a lot of statues that I don't necessarily love the character, but the statue's just really, really well done. My favorite statue, though, right now in my collection is obviously the Batman, right? And I'm a fan. If we're talking DC, Batman is my favorite, right? I do have, I don't know if you could see it this way, and excuse the mess, because as you know, I have a lot of stuff, but I don't know if you see Hulk versus Wolverine.
I'm gonna move it over here. Go.
Yeah, no problem.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah. Okay. I had a poster that years ago.
That's paying homage to obviously the first appearance of Wolverine, which is Hulk 181, with the short ears, where Wolverine's sent to defeat the Hulk. And it's such an iconic battle scene. But I'm more into the statues that tell a story. So I love the dioramas where they're fighting each other. I think that's really cool. So most of my statues that I purchased myself are ones that they're kind of fighting each other. There's 2 people or two. You know, like I have a Batman and Spawn that's very rare. Years ago it came out, and they're kind of like their capes are surrounding each other. And there was a comic book where Image and DC kind of collaborated, and they made a statue of it. You can't even find Spawn statues anymore, but that's another one of mine. That's pretty cool. And I'm not the biggest Spawn fan. I mean, I like Spawn, but he's not like my favorite, right? So I would say definitely the Batman as far as statues. Definitely Hawk and Wolverine would come in second. And third, I would have to say, trying to think which one I got over there. I have a Wolverine and Juggernaut from Iron Studios. It's all the way on the other side though, but it's cool because Juggernaut is humongous, and you see Wolverine trying to fight the Juggernaut, right? But I have that, and they're kind of going through the mansion, and the mansion is just destroyed, and they're fighting on the stairway, so it's kind of cool. But those will be my three current statues in my collection. And as far as heroes go, Wolverine for Marvel, Batman for DC, but I'm really into villains. I love the Joker, love Sabretooth, Omega Red, Magneto, things like that.
What's your take on Deadpool?
I like Deadpool. I like Deadpool. I'm glad Ryan Reynolds did him justice, because I absolutely hated what they did with Deadpool in Wolverine and the Wolverine.
If at first you don't succeed, try again.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if it wasn't for Ryan Reynolds, he wouldn't be a thing. So I really like Deadpool. I like his character. I think he kind of evolved or after the years, because in the comic books he wasn't anything like what Ryan Reynolds has. But Deadpool's awesome, and you know, they're the Deadpools are always the funnest characters to see people cosplay at Comic Cons, because they're just acting a fool, and it's hilarious. So.
Now, I wanted to basically pick your brain on this, since we're talking a little bit about Wolverine. For a while there, for Multiverse of Madness, they were doing 6-day-a-week reshoots, which is buckets of dollars being spent on as far as crew overtime and everything like that goes. The reason I wanted to ask, though, and I wanted to get your thoughts on this, rumors have persisted for a while that Wolverine in a new format will be taking form. Supposedly, rumor has it that Daniel Radcliffe will in fact be playing Wolverine in some degree of cameo. I wanted to get your thoughts on it from either one of you guys, really. Do you think he can do it? Would you believe it if you saw it? And do you think it's going to happen?
I'll let you go first on this one, because I'm curious.
So I'm actually gonna refer back to Guns Akimbo, where he was in there, and that was a very Wolverine-ish sort of thing, where he had the gun stuck to his hands, and he proved he had some action chops. And I love the idea of sticking with the more Hugh Jackman body type, less huge. Maybe he's going to have to hit the gym and get cut, but a less huge, more cut version, I'm good with. So maybe he can do it. And look, get himself 2 franchises under his belt. Good for him.
Yeah.
So my thoughts, right? It's one of those things where, in my mind, I absolutely hate it. But just like the Batman, I'm telling you right now, he's gonna kill it. I know everybody knows him for Twilight. I could promise you he's gonna kill it. And at first, and my girlfriend loves him, Robert Pattinson. But at first I was like, oh, it's gonna be horrible. And then I'm like, you know what? This guy's gonna kill. He's gonna be such a good Batman, and he's so fixated on everybody forgetting about Twilight that he's gonna absolutely do great about Batman, right? So
can I interrupt you for 1 second
to
agree with you? When I saw him in Tenet, I was like, he's gonna kill this in Batman. The moment I saw him in Tenet.
Right. So I think it's the same thing with him, right? Like you said, the movie where he had the guns attached to his hand, he did a really good job. And if you look at this picture, he looks like, you know, a Wolverine. And remember, it's gonna take place in alternate universes or different timelines and stuff. So this might be a version of Wolverine that they could be leaning towards. And I think he'll kill it. He has the size for it, right? I mean, if you guys remember when they were gonna cast Wolverine originally, they were
he's actually taller than Wolverine is 5'5".
Yeah, they were gonna try to cast Danny DeVito for freaking Wolverine before. But I think I think if we see it, I think it'll be cool. It'll be funny. But in my honest opinion, I think we're gonna see Hugh Jackman. I think we're gonna see Hugh Jackman. I know he retired, but I think after all this, he's gonna do it for the fans. And I think I don't want to ever see anybody but Hugh Jackman. Look, if there was one person that I could see play Wolverine, and I don't want to see him play it, is freaking the guy who played Venom, Tom
Hardy.
Tom Hardy.
Yeah, and I can't because he's been everybody already. He's been Venom, he's been Bane. I mean, he's everybody. He's good, but he's the only guy. You know who else would be a good Wolverine? The kid that played the Rocket Man and
yes, from Kingsman.
Yes, I think he would be a cool Wolverine as well. Other than that, I have no idea who would play Wolverine, and I would be open for them to get somebody who we don't know to play the role. But it's kind of big shoes to fill because I think Hugh Jackman just did such an amazing job with Wolverine, especially in Old Man Logan. I think it was pretty cool, but I'm open to this. I'm open to this.
I'm not against it either. I mean, here's the thing. It would, if anybody, it would probably be Hugh Jackman first. Now, that's not to say they might have two Wolverines to do a proverbial passing of the torch, because that's always plausible as well. But Hugh Jackman is what people know first. But you guys, I mean, you took basically everything I was going to say there. Robert Pattinson, even Michael Keaton, people had doubts, and you're like, oh, actually, he's pretty good. You know, I mean, I could see if Daniel Radcliffe were to bulk up a little bit, I think it could work, because I think right now, I think even here in this picture, he's a little too Harry Potter-y, and I think he's trying to escape that one hardcore, just like Robert Pattinson's trying to escape from, well, actually, I was going to say not just Twilight, but also Cedric Diggory too.
Oh yeah,
you know.
Yep.
So I can see Daniel Radcliffe wanting to expand out and maybe take something a little bit darker, a little bit more dramatic. Emma Watson's already pretty well broken out. Rupert Grint's got a show, I think, on Netflix, or Hulu. So they're starting to escape. And Rupert Grint did a war biopic, which was really, really weird. But these guys are trying to break away from the Harry Potter, you know, feeling of everything. And I could see him being a solid Wolverine. I really could.
I could see it. Maybe for a cameo. I don't know about a role, but like if it's a cameo type thing to see a different version of Wolverine, I think it'll be cool. You never know.
Yeah. I think it's really hard for him to get out of being Harry Potter, because he has tried so hard in so many ways. He was in that movie where he was the undercover. He was the undercover FBI agent in the white supremacist group. He did that play where he did full frontal nudity, equine. Yep. Like, he's been trying, but then you go and you put it on TV, and 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, there's a Harry Potter film on, and he's Harry. I mean, look, to this day, you still look at Shatner and tell me you don't see James T. Kirk. Like, he's just.
You don't see Rescue 911 or TJ Hooker with that?
No.
Or Boston Legal?
Or Boston Legal. I love Boston Legal. And I still go, oh, look, Captain Kirk's on Boston.
I know, right?
Like Picard, he got it. Some people can, I don't know what it is. And I think it's about the character and the person doing it. They come too tight. And then for him to try to break out by going into Wolverine, a character who's defined by an actor over so long, that's a bold move. I think it might actually be the only way to do it, because he's literally trying to be somebody else.
I have two words for you: Mark Hamill. And you know, and I was like, yeah, Miguel, you know exactly what I'm talking about here. And not only did he have to basically replace Luke Skywalker, but he had to come on the heels of Jack Nicholson and Tim Curry, who was the original Joker. And he established himself immensely, to the point that I think probably the younger generation know him better as the Joker. And they're like, that who's the old guy playing Luke Skywalker?
Yeah, right.
But he did it, you know what? He did it without his face.
True.
And that is half of it. You don't have to look at him and go, why? And then, like, for me, like, I didn't realize it was him until much later, and then I went, oh, and then now I'm like, okay, go play anything. You know, of course was his role in Sonic versus Blunt Man as well. That was all impressive. Yeah,
but I mean, with his voice career, even like, everything is pretty much mostly Joker based. You know, Fire Lord Ozai, he was Green Goblin or Hobgoblin on Spider-Man. I forget which one. One of the goblins. But
I think he was one of them. I want to say
Hobgoblin's one of my guts telling me.
Yeah, I think it was Hobgoblin.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean in his case, he's done so much in the voice arena that way that I think a lot of people forget after a while somehow that he was Luke Skywalker. And the sequel trilogy, Like Him or Hate Him, reminded people, oh yeah, he's Luke.
Yeah, he's, man, what a talented guy, man. What a talented guy.
I want that dude on here so badly too.
Yeah, I would tell you guys a secret, but I don't know if I can.
You can type it in the chat.
Be a secret.
If you want to type in the chat, we can talk
about
it.
I'll tell you after. But I will throw a wrench at you if you guys don't mind. So we're talking about the new Doctor Strange Universe of Madness, right? Did you guys catch when he was brought up to a panel of certain people, and that certain people might be Xavier and the Illuminati? Did you see that at all?
I heard Patrick Stewart's voice, and I'm like, interesting.
But I don't know. It's out there, but that would be amazing if it was. So it would be cool to see Black Panther up there too, in that, even if it's like, some sort of 3D rendering of him. But to have the Illuminati up there, maybe introduce Namor, Black Bolt, maybe I for sure Reeves is going to be on there from the Fantastic Four. So we'll see what happens.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, they've been spending buckets of money, 6-day-a-week reshoots, which is, like I said, automatic overtime for the crew. You have to deal with a lot of penalties and stuff like this. And I don't know how many tens of millions of dollars is being spent to do this. And I know they finished it and everything like that. And I think Spider-Man No Way Home gave them some degree of panic on that. But it'll be interesting to see what the payoff is, really.
Yeah, for sure.
So I personally get scared when I hear that, because all I can think about is Justice League and Han Solo. Like, that's what I think when you go, all this reshoot. I'm like, oh no.
Look, I'm Henry Cavill.
Oh
no. But so we're gonna maybe slowly start wrapping this up a little bit, because actually it's been almost an hour at this point, dude. But again, let's bring it back to where we started on this. Toy Quest 101. Talk about it. Plug it. Promote it, everything you need to do.
Yeah, so basically, for those who are not familiar with us, Toy Quest 101 is a pop culture review channel that inspires kids with autism and special needs and people worldwide. Basically, the show came about because my daughter has autism, and she thought she couldn't be on YouTube because she had autism. So as a father, it broke my heart during that time. I was remodeling my basement because I grew up with pop culture and comic books, and I slowly started decorating it. I set out a table. We did a show with her, and she turned into a totally different person. And we decided to continue on with the show to inspire other kids that might think that it would be a roadblock. And ever since then, like you said, we've had over 70 million views. We got the YouTube Play Button Award. We've helped out so much in the community. We have celebrity guests come on to the show. I mean, we got all types of fans from around the world who either watch it because of this, the story behind it, or just because they generally like pop culture. But we do it all, and you guys could find us on Toy Quest 101 on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook. We have the Facebook group. If you're interested, you can hit me up. I'll send you a link. There we kind of, news on new toys, on statues, how you can get them, contests. I'm always throwing contests out there. Our episodes, it's a big community out there. There's other YouTubes that I like to share their stuff too. And just anything to help out where we can. We're always trying to do. But yeah, I always ask people to support us. I never ask for Patreons or money or anything like that. The best way to support us is share, subscribe, and that's pretty much it. That's just follow us, and enjoy the ride. And if you guys are interested in new episodes or have questions, I'm constantly answering people. I've become friends with random people that I have no idea who they are throughout this whole journey. And I get people hit me up all the time over things, or just if they want to talk, if they want to talk comic books, if they need a question answered about a specific product, or if they want my opinion. Doesn't matter. I'm always there. And it's fun. And, like I said, if you guys, are interested, just, follow us, hit me up, and you're more than welcome to join the community.
Throw that back down there too for the for stature review as well.
Thank you.
Oh, no problem. So yeah, thank you as always, man. You, like I said, you rock. We never really talked too much about boxing, MMA, and the rest of it tonight. Say a little bit.
That's about wrestling one day. I'm waiting I'm coming back on. We're already doing this.
We will make this work.
we're gonna
Yeah,
talk
like I
wrestling.
said, at this point now, we also do live stream reaction and commentary on the Stream Punk sports side of things. So wrestling, MMA, if you ever want to do live stream reaction and commentary to wherever's going down there, believe me, we will make that work. 100% we'll make that work. So cool. Obi, any final thoughts from you before we wrap this up?
Yeah, I'm going to take a moment to plug my own stuff. Tomorrow morning, a new episode of Drinking from the Garden Hose is dropping. Get that wherever you get your podcast. We really got Ed riled up this week, and it turns out he knows about the royal family. So you got to listen to Ed's take on that.
Nice.
That's what I got coming up. And of course, all the stuff that we're doing here, which I'm sure Scott's going to give you guys in just a second.
Yeah. To keep it simple, tomorrow night, 7 p.m., we got What Grinds My Gears, roundtable forum about all the things that are frankly annoying us in life, just as a simple vent session. Sometimes it's therapy. For some people, sometimes it's just, why is this happening? And then Saturday, we're basically kicking off MLS, where I will be covering the Philadelphia Union Minnesota United game, breaking that down, taking questions, live stream reaction and commentary, since I do write for NYCFC and MLS to begin with. Give me questions, give me thoughts, give me complaints. Philadelphia, in a lot of ways, the fans out there were pretty pissed about the fact that they lost to NYCFC in the Eastern Final because 11 players on COVID, you got a depleted roster. Yeah, you're probably going to lose. So break that down on Saturday as well. And then, like I said, Tales from the Film Set, Stream Punk Sports. So yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate this. Like I said, you are awesome. Guys. Grateful to you and Ileana. Yeah, we'll definitely talk soon. And again, if you want to do MMA and wrestling commentary as it happens, by God, we will knock that out.
I'm down. Anything to help out, be back on. I love you guys, so I'm ready.
Same.
Thank you. And again, thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
Love your work.
Thank you.
Thank you as always. You guys too. Appreciate that. And like I said, we'll be back tomorrow night. Got any questions, thoughts, ideas, compliments, or complaints? Talesfromthefilmset@gmail.com.